I guess his time is finally over. Gallagher has been power crept, and honestly, it's not even close. Lingsha is proving to be the undisputed best in slot for break comps, so all you Firefly mains out there, you might want to consider pulling her. Let's talk about her best Lightcones, Relics, Teamcomps, and Eidolons that will allow her to perform at her best. So she is one of those characters that thankfully do not heavily rely on her signature to perform well. Yes, it's her general best in slot, however, it does not perform that much better than a lot of free-to-play options and other alternatives. Firstly, Luocha's signature and Huohua's sig are both good. They offer energy among other buffs, which allow you to run a break effect rope and meet Lingsha's minimum requirements, which we will get to later in the stats section. But otherwise, some 4-star free-to-play options can be S5 post-op. It's her free-to-play best in slot, because it also allows you to run a break effect rope. Quid Pro Crow is decent, and S5 What Is Real is decent, providing good break effect and extra healing. For Lingsha's Relic Sets, her best in slot 4-piece will be Iron Cavalry. Yes, she has pretty decent personal damage, while not relying on a healing set to keep your team alive. But if she is struggling to sustain, then you can run 2-piece combos of speed, break effect, or healing. For her planner ornaments, undisputed best in slot will definitely be Lantern Set. It gives speed, break effect, and its only requirement is fire weakness, which Lingsha is of that element. Now, main stats. But first, I'm gonna cover her minimum requirements, just to show what you should be aiming for. Number 1 priority is 160 speed, then 200% break effect to max out her very important A2 trace. With that being said, Lingsha wants healing bonus on the body, speed on the boots, attack percent on the orb. She does not scale off of fire damage percent, just like Firefly, and then energy regenerate or break effect on the rope, whatever you need more of. This will depend on her Lightcones. For her substats, I sort of mentioned it earlier, you're aiming for speed first, then break effect, and then any extra rolls of attack percent can help her damage a little bit. Let's move on to team comps now. So of course, she will be replacing all Gallagher teams. She is broken. Firefly Super Break will be her strongest with Ruan Mei and Harmony MC. She's very good with Boot Hill and his comps. She's a decent option with Fei Zhao because her talent does do follow-up. Honestly, she's really good for all follow-up comps. She really has enough utility to be used anywhere. She's a very universal sustain. The previously mentioned comps are just where she will get the most value. Moving on to her final section Eidolons, which are all pretty decent. So E1 increases Lingsha's weakness break efficiency by 50%, and when the enemy is weakness broken, their defense is reduced by 20%. So this is already a major DPS increase, not only to Lingsha, but for the whole team as well. E2, when Lingsha ults, all allies break effect increases by 40% for 3 turns. It's a decent Eidolon. It provides a lot to break effect teammates, but it's not crazy, and has 0 value in comps not revolving around break effect. E4, when Fu Yuan takes action, which is her talent, heals the lowest teammate by 40% of Lingsha's attack. This Eidolon is probably her worst. It provides a little more sustain, but that's about it. Then finally E6, when her talent is on field, it reduces enemies all type resistance by 20%, which is already broken, but it also allows her talent to deal 4 more instances of damage, each of them dealing 50% fire damage of Lingsha's attack, and a toughness reduction of 5 to a random enemy, prioritizing fire weak enemies and ones with a higher toughness bar. So yes, as usual, E6s are game breaking. This one is pretty good. It definitely turns her into more of a DPS sustain than she already was. So overall, one of the best sustains in the game, especially for break and follow-up comps. Lingsha just provides so much value.